You can now own the entirety of Diagon Alley in Lego form, this time without having to rearrange half your furniture to make it fit. I thought, wouldn't it be fun to just have a look at this new Lego set, see what it has to offer, and, I don't know, do a little review. This isn't quite accurate, by the way, let me just... There you go, that's much better. Fully in Harry Potter style. Ignore my hoodie. This was not sponsored by Lego, I bought this with my own big boy money. Now let's get straight into it. The set doesn't come in a massive box, thankfully, just a decent size, showcasing the Lego model from what I think is pretty much the best angle and setup you can choose. It is the 18+ style though, so nothing crazy going on, other than just the clean black design with a picture on it. If we open this up, we're met with a whopping 21 numbered paper bags and 5 instruction booklets carefully wrapped in a paper cover. Not a single sticker in sight. I am very excited to see this thing all built and finished, so let's not waste any time and get straight into it. Now before diving in, first some objective information about LEGO set 76444, Diagon Alley Wizarding Shops. The set came out January 1st this year, includes 2,750 pieces and retails for $200 and euros, 160 British pounds and 300 Australian. This means in US dollars and euros you're paying about 11 cents per piece, which is about what we're used to seeing. I weighed the whole thing as well, and with a weight of 1,364 grams, you'll be paying more or less 15 cents per gram of Lego. This set comes, surprisingly, with 12 Nanofigures, which is really cool to see for a change. Here are some spare parts I ended up with, and fun to point out, I got a spare for each Nanofigure, which is really cool. And the instruction booklets combined have a total of 537 instruction pages. You probably already knew this if you clicked this video, but for those who don't, this LEGO set is based on Diagon Alley from the first Harry Potter movie, The Philosopher's Stone. It's where Harry gets introduced to the wizarding world and collects various items for his adventures at Hogwarts Castle. It is pretty iconic to say the least, and after seeing several minifigure scale-based sets off this street, it's nice to finally get a smaller scale made exclusively for display. Later we'll check out the Nanofigures included, but first, here's Diagon Alley, and bloody hell, this thing is wide if you display it like this. This is really the ideal set if you like Harry Potter and you have some wide bookshelves, or, I don't know, a piano. It is packed with detail and I can't wait to get into all of them, but first, just wow. What a cool and colorful and fun set to look at. The building experience was quite fun, loads of little details and color to put in place, and surprisingly varied. I remember the small Hogwarts castle to be kind of a pain to build. There were way too many small pieces and you'd constantly be doing the same thing. But here they actually managed to put in a ton of different building techniques, which overall made it just relaxing and fun. Before building, you are introduced with the set, just some text about design and whatnot. Feel free to pause and read. And during the building process, you actually get little details about what specifically you're building, which is super fun. And finally, nice to point out, because you build it in separate pieces, you can easily build this with friends, because the order in which you do this doesn't matter at all. Each booklet builds an individual section of the build. In total, I spent more or less 4 hours putting this together. Now, as you've just seen, it is built up from different sections that can easily be connected to one another. And with this kind of modular structure, you can display it in various ways. Either spread out, like I just showed, or folded up to really get that cozy street kind of layout. Spread out horizontally, it measures a whopping 88 centimeters wide, 14 centimeters high, and 8 centimeters deep. It is really quite large. Now, without any further ado, let's get into all the details, because there is a ton of them. And let's go from left to right, because this is where Harry Potter's great adventure into the wizarding world really begins. Over here where the stone wall opens up, just like we see in the Philosopher's Stone. The building over here represents the Leaky Cauldron, with on the inside a lovely little interior featuring some stools, a fireplace, and even a second floor with some furniture. As I said, the detail is absolutely crazy. And next to this building you can place down the purple knight bust that we see in action in The Prisoner of Azkaban.
It's going to be a bumpy ride!
Muggles? They don't
can't see nothing, do they?
It looks quite cute and adds a nice splash of color. Next to the leaky cauldron is the magical menagerie, which as far as I know barely if at all makes it onto the screen in the movies, but Universal Studios does feature it and I guess there are some similarities. It's basically just a pet shop where you can find magical creatures, such as this little pink frog that they put in. Tons of tiny details here that make it come alive, even a little chocolate frog on the roof. The purple building here represents Madame Malkin's robes for all occasions, where students could get their robes for Hogwarts, of course. Very fancy looking exterior, loving the purple and golden scissors on it. And inside they even added all sorts of clothing items using clips and a tiny mirror over here. Absolutely perfect. Quality Quidditch Supplies is our next stop, featuring the golden snitch sitting on the front, along with a few very nicely printed glass panels. It's nice and colorful and I love that it's got some red in it, since it's the only one of 2 buildings that have that. Inside you'll see some broomsticks replicated with the regular paintbrush pieces. Genius move, I absolutely adore that detail. And you can also see some Hogwarts house banners hanging off the walls, and some Quidditch boxes. Very cool stuff. Something nice to point out as well are these lampposts that are spread across the entire path. Super simple design, but it works wonders for making it feel more alive. The blue shop here will be the Elops Owl Emporium, where, guess what? They've got owls. I like how they use this printed piece in different orientations to create different letters. Think smarter, not harder kind of thing. Inside you can see what I can only assume are owl cages and a little counter and whatnot. And please tell me that's supposed to be bird poop. That's amazing. The few buildings next to it all look very similar, just in different colors. These are Slug and Jigger's Apothecary, Mr. Mulpepper's Apothecary, and Boltage Cauldron Shop. Their similar designs are actually quite satisfying to see side by side, and we even have some rooftop detail here like these tullips. On the inside you'll see the interior, including a few prints, even furthering the level of detail a tad more. I could describe everything I see, but it kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? Now next to these we've got the eye-catcher of the set, Gringotts Bank, with the dragon sitting on top, a detail Harry Potter fans will definitely appreciate. First, the bank though, it's nice and white, you can see all the pillars are in place, and it's rather tall as well, so it really towers over the rest. On either side you can see some archways and windows to fill it up and connect it to the rest of the street quite nicely. There's a little market stand on the right, another lamppost, just really solid. On the inside you'll see a nice tall interior with a chandelier, windows, and the spots for goblins to sit on, and even a tiny little office at the very top. The iron-bellied dragon sitting on top looks as nice as it's gonna get, I guess, at this scale. It is a little wonky, but what else can you do right here? I do like the tail and the fire though, and the fact that you can just take it off easily and put it on wherever. One sad thing about this section, and really the whole set, is none of the architecture is as crooked as it is in the movie. This is quite literally impossible to do at this scale, so it makes sense, but they did kind of try and do it by making at least the path nice and crooked. If you do fold it up, you sort of get the vibe, which I really appreciate. Anyway, next, Borgin and Burke's, with its shady entrance on the side and very tall and fancy windows up front. I really like this design, also the roof has a nice angle to it. Inside is a stairway up, the vanishing cabinet Malfoy can't keep his hands off, the little hand that grabs Harry Potter, and a second floor with like a glass coffin or something. I'm not entirely sure about that, but really cool building for sure. Next to it is these Scribulous writing implements to get yourself some writing supplies. A simple but clean looking building from the outside, with on the inside tons of items to do with writing like these quills and ink and a shelf. Nothing too crazy, but it looks cute. Then next, now we'll see a classic, Ollivander's Wand Shop, where Harry gets his first wand from Ollivander. The colors are quite accurate with the yellow and black accents. It is very simplified of course, but you can instantly tell which building this is. And on the inside, guess what? Tons and tons of little boxes with wands. Shelves full of them. Then on to the very last section of the build, where we first arrive at Wizarding's Wizarding Equipment to go get your magical gadgets. The light blue pops very nicely, expanding upon the colorful nature of the build. Once again, that same print, but this time oriented to make a W. And inside, as expected, a bunch of gadgets, such as this golden cart and a little printed compass. Florian Fortesque Ice Cream Parlor is next, and here you can get yourself some lovely ice cream. The exterior features a light, a big ice cream statue, and seats at the front door. I feel like I don't even need to say what's inside. Ice cream flavors, of course, all printed pieces. The bookstore next door is Flourish and Blots. Very fancy design over here. Loving the black and sand green combination, and there's even some little statues in front of the windows there. Inside are books. Loads and loads of books. Who saw that coming? Now, this and the next building are split up by an alleyway. I'm not sure why that tile is crooked and what it's supposed to be, but well, I mean, it's meant to be like this, so don't worry. And finally, guys, Weasley Wizard Wheezes, the candy shop ran by Fred and George. It pops so much with the yellow and orange, definitely my favorite building in this set. I really like the big statue with the hat and the minifigure, super fun, and well, the inside is just as nice, featuring the staircases, the love potion in the back there, and just a few levels to walk on. Then on the very side of the building is a red exterior with a ton of windows, and even a tiny little British telephone booth. And on the very side of the base it says Diagon Alley, and well, that is pretty much everything. That is of course besides the Nanofigures, which are tiny. This is one compared to a micro figure, and then this is a regular minifigure. It is crazy that they were somehow able to print them at this tiny scale. I'm happy they did though. And all their names are up on the screen right now if you couldn't tell yet. And actually I love that you get 2 of each, so you can all have them displayed on the streets of Diagon Alley alongside a separate little tray of Harry Potter Nanofigures. I just love the way it overall looks. It's so colorful and detailed and varied. I do have to say I strongly prefer the spread out configuration. As an actual street it's nice, but it's mostly from the front side. The interior does look slightly messy, I think, and it's pretty prominently visible this way. I also wish these clips were actual hinges instead of the combination of both. They very loosely attach, so you can absolutely not pick the whole thing up. Even if you move it a bit too fast, it already detaches. That I guess is worth mentioning. The overall sturdiness therefore isn't the best, but individually the sections are pretty strong and won't randomly fall apart on you. Also, customization is not something you can really do here because, well, this kind of shows why. It makes sense though, you're not supposed to be switching things up, it's only meant to be this specific way. I am super happy I bought it though, it looks super nice alongside the Hogwarts Castle ground set from a while ago, and well, it's pretty much everything I expected.
Pros and cons.
The design and details are on point, everything you would want is included, and is done in pretty much the best way possible, I think, at this scale. It is just a beautiful set for display. The horizontal configuration can really work well for shelves and, well, in my case, piano decoration. One con would be that it's not really meant for play and therefore isn't very sturdy as a whole. Moving it around means doing it piece by piece, but once it's in place, I guess you're good to go. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see some more, I actually have a dedicated channel for videos like this. I don't really post on it anymore, but I guess you can watch the stuff I already made. But either way, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell not to miss a single future video, and then I hope I'll see you in the next one. You can now own the entirety of Diagon Alley in Lego. Why did I say that so British?